Hi, it's Steve from Parts Select. In this video, we're going to show you how easy it is to change the drive motor on your clothes dryer. Whether your model appears to be similar to this or not, the procedure for replacing the motor is pretty much the same on all domestic clothes dryers. The first thing we'll need to do is to disconnect power to your dryer. Now that we're ready to begin this repair, we'll first of all need to remove that top. On this particular dryer, the top is held in place with a couple of screws that are hidden in behind the door opening. So we'll open up the door, remove those two screws, and then we can take the top off. We now have access to the retaining screws in the top corners that need to be removed. Then we can tilt that front panel and door assembly forward to remove it. Now keep in mind there is typically going to be a wiring harness attached to that front panel for the door switch. So we'll need to remove those wire harnesses first. Now with the front panel removed, the next step we'll need to do is to release the tension of the belt on the idler and motor pulleys. So if the blower wheel is on the left-hand side, the motor obviously is right in behind it along with the idler pulley. So we're going to reach in with one hand through this opening here, as well as another through the opposite side till we find the belt. Follow the belt along until we locate the idler pulley. We'll release the tension on the idler pulley and then we can slip the belt off. Now because there is not much of a gap between the circumference of that drum and the opening in the cabinet, we suggest that you remove a single screw that secures the right hand side of that cabinet, and that will allow that cabinet to swing open a little farther. Now regardless of whether your dryer drum sits on rear drum rollers or has a center bearing such as this model, we're simply going to use the belt to help support the weight of the drum and either lift it off of those rear drum rollers or pull it away from a rear bearing, and then we'll just set that aside. Now with the drum removed from the cabinet, we have our drive motor, our idler assembly and pulley. Now typically with most clothes dryers, the motor and blower assembly are one unit. So to replace the motor, you'll need to pull the blower wheel off, which often involves removing the blower housing. Our first step is going to be removing the individual wires from the switch on the motor. We'll also disconnect the thermostat from the blower housing to get that out of the way. And then we'll remove the retaining screws that secure that assembly to both the front mounting bracket and the base of the dryer. Now that we've removed the retaining screws, our next step will be to lift up on the back of that assembly, and then we'll pull it straight towards the back of the dryer, keeping in mind that we need to fit the blower wheel through the opening in the back of the housing, so you may need to manipulate that a bit to get it through there. Now we can rotate that assembly, and then we'll pull the idler arm bracket. Now we'll take the motor and blower and set it on a work surface. Now that we have the whole assembly out where we can work on it easier, our next step will be to remove the blower wheel. Some blower wheels are attached with a C-clip, or in the case of the one that we're working with today, it uses a two-piece clamp. So we'll need to remove the old blower wheel, set it aside so that we can attach it to the new motor. Now with the blower wheel removed, we've exposed a couple of screws that attach to this clamp for the front of the motor mount. So we can loosen those or simply remove the two screws on the clamp and separate the motor from that clamp itself. There will also be a rear mounting clamp that we need to release as well. So simply release the tension on that hook by either pressing down on it or taking a pair of pliers and pulling down and away, and you can remove it. This particular one has a ground wire attached to it, so we'll remove that next. Now before we discard the original motor, we'll need to line up the new one to make sure that it has the same dimension. Now you'll note the replacement motor in this case does not come with the pulley installed. It's supplied with two separate pulleys so that it'll fit a multitude of models. So once we've selected the correct pulley, we'll make sure we fit it firmly onto the shaft, and then we'll install the supplied set screw. Now we suggest with that set screw that you use a little bit of thread locker to prevent it from backing out. Now that we have the pulley reinstalled on the back of the new motor, we're ready to put the assembly together. We want to make sure that we have both the front and rear mounts secure. Once we've done that, we'll take the whole assembly, put it back into the dryer, and reassemble everything. Thank you so much for watching this video. We certainly hope that you're confident enough now to tackle your own dryer motor replacement. For more videos on appliance repair, maintenance, and cleaning tips, be sure to visit our website. And hey, remember to subscribe so you don't miss a thing.